Geoff Martzen is in his second year with BYU as the football player personnel and on-campus recruiting coordinator. We welcome him to his true blue debut. Geoff, good to have you.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
You ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right. Now, we're here in the heart of BYU broadcasting. Before we dive into who's who in the signing class, we want to ask you, how did you land at BYU? Take us through the road that brought you to Provo, Utah.
Yeah, well, I did my undergraduate degree at Fresno State, and then from there, I went to the University of Alabama for grad school, and got the opportunity to be an unpaid intern in their recruiting department. I did that for a little less than a year, and then went with a buddy of mine to Boise State. He got the head job there, the recruiting job there, and took me with him as sort of a GA type. So we did that for a season, and then BYU offered me this job out of there, so haven't looked back since.
Okay, so kind of making the rounds in the Mountain West.
Yep.
How many years of experience do you have recruiting now?
Well, going on my third. So I did a year at Alabama, a year at Boise, and then this past year.
Well, we hope to keep you here for a while.
I'd love to stay.
If that's okay with you. What was the central focus on this year's recruiting class for BYU football?
You know, we knew we wanted to get better on the outside, offensively at the wide receiver position. We did that. You know, we got some immediate impact guys, 3 guys that will come in and play right away. Nick Kurtz, Devon Blackman, and Jordan Leslie from UTEP. And then defensively, when you're running the 3-4, you really can never have too many good outside linebackers. You see Fred Warner here, who is kind of headlining that group. And then Tyler Cook, another one, Vista Murrieta, who's going to be a great player. And then we also got Sione Takitaki, who's going to be an inside backer type. But when you're in the 3-4 defense, linebacker is definitely the position to need every year. You can never have too many great ones.
Okay, so we're looking at the linebackers right now. They immediately seem to get better. Now we look at the receivers for BYU, and Nick Kurtz is one of the guys you mentioned. Great speed, great size, and he's just the tip of the iceberg for this year's recruiting class.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a great immediate impact kind of guy. And the best thing about him is, you know, with all the hype he had coming in and all the offers and everything, is he's a complete low maintenance guy. He doesn't, you know, he's got no issues, no ego or anything. So I mean, that's my favorite thing about Nick.
A major recruiting win in the wide receiver category, that from the mouth of Bronco Mendenhall. Now, BYU reached further across the nation than this year than in years past. I'm looking at the list and I see Kansas, Oklahoma, California, North Carolina, Hawaii. Why the emphasis on branching out?
Really, I mean, there's just great high school football played all around the country, and you know, we don't want to just focus just on Utah. Even though we're going to start in Utah, I know that there's, you know, excellent football players all across the country, and then we'll go wherever it takes to find them.
BYU snagged Uriah Leatawa in the last minute.
Yeah.
He had he's been recruited heavily by Stanford, had committed to Stanford, decided to go with BYU and blaze his own trail. What changed his mind in that moment?
Well, so he was committed to Stanford, and I think the biggest thing with Uriah was his visit. So he got here just the weekend before signing day, and when he was on campus, you could just see it in his face that he was meant to be at BYU. Just going through that whole weekend and seeing him interact with our guys, I think we all kind of knew that he was coming. It was just getting him to tell everybody that he was and convince himself that he could turn down Stanford to be here.
So apparently he talked to Richard Sherman of the Seattle Seahawks. What was that all about?
You know, I know just as much about that as you do, I'd assume. But yeah, I've read up on that, and it's just kind of how, you know, that Compton mentality of everybody from there is going to go to SC, and Richard Sherman was kind of the first to get out and go to Palo Alto. And Uriah kind of wanted to do something even more different than that.
BYU goes head-to-head with USC on 4 players, recruiting-wise. You get 3 of them. How was that competition with the Trojans?
Well, I think, you know, it sounds great. We had a great opportunity with them changing their coaching staff at the perfect time for us. We got, you know, Nick, Warner, and Uriah. We missed out on one, but Nick, we got USC came on him real late. Fred Warner, they were on him the whole time. Uriah was committed to Stanford, so they were on him early, but then they kind of backed off. But yeah, you know, I think it was just a great job of our coaches selling the program, getting these guys on campus, and showing them what we're all about.
Did you get some good rest? I mean, this is important. After that madness last week, were you able to get some rest?
Yeah, I spent the weekend 4 days in Fresno, so got to hang out with the family a little bit.
I hope you did nothing.
Yeah, no, nothing
Sit on the couch and watch movies.
Yeah, it was a great weekend.
Now looking even further ahead, because you're here, I want to ask you this. How much work has been done for recruiting already next year, 2015?
A lot. You know, we've got some early offers out. We've got, you know, 4 kids committed already. You know, we probably we've probably evaluated, maybe 800, 2015 kids, and by the time it's all done, it'll be just over 3,000 probably.
All right, Geoff Martzen, that was a dynamic True Blue debut. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You got it.